Your users might be frustrated with Salesforce, and here's how I know. At networking events, I go up to end users and ask them about their experiences in Salesforce. And most of the time, they don't have a lot of positive feedback. In fact, they're willing to give me a long list of issues that they have with Salesforce. And in my opinion, Salesforce is a waste of money if your users aren't actually using the system. So I've been listening and I've identified a few common pain points that we will discuss in today's video. Understanding these pain points and how to prevent them will help you to design solutions that your users will actually enjoy. It's time to elevate your skill set. CRMs are supposed to make users' lives easier by simplifying business processes and providing a dedicated system for up-to-date company data. But time and time again, users are frustrated with Salesforce. Why is that? Well, one of the common pain points that I've heard is that a lot of users are interacting with poorly built implementations that don't actually improve business processes. On paper, the implementation may look great. There may be automated processes with new fields and custom layouts. But in reality, the data entry is tedious and full of extra steps. The processes don't behave the way users expect them to. And the people who live in Salesforce every day don't have access to the functionality that they actually need. So, from the user's perspective, Salesforce doesn't feel like a helpful tool. Instead, it feels like a burden with a lot of extra work. Now, I will acknowledge that some implementations end up this way due to low budgets combined with unrealistic timelines and expectations. However, there are a few simple things that you can do to drastically improve the outcome of your implementations. First, you need to involve actual end users throughout the implementation process. Talking to executives and key stakeholders is important, but you want to pick a few users who are going to live in Salesforce every day, and you want to make sure that they are involved in discovery workshops, requirements gathering sessions, and you definitely want to make sure that they are involved in UAT testing. When you do that, you will be able to understand how users really work, and you'll understand the best ways for them to interact with Salesforce. Best of all, you'll be able to do all of this before you go live with a new project. Next, I believe that both admins and developers need to be involved in the requirements gathering process. There have been plenty of times where a feature was promised in a meeting that simply wasn't realistic due to platform limitations, data model issues, or the amount of effort required. If you involve your technical resources early, they can call out potential challenges, suggest better ways to achieve a goal, or even recommend an App Exchange app instead of reinventing the wheel. Finally, you need to ensure that your technical team has business context. For example, it's one thing to say, let's build a Lightning Web component for this, but it's another thing to understand that the Lightning Web component will be used to track key performance indicators for leadership or even to drive a critical part of the sales process. When admins and developers understand why a requirement exists and not just what to build, they can often come up with a well thought out solution that can better support the business. The next common pain point is errors. Errors are inevitable, so you just have to plan for it. But seeing the occasional error is completely different than seeing multiple errors every day. And that's an unenjoyable experience for everyone. Whenever critical processes get blocked by errors, users quietly go back to tracking key data outside of Salesforce in spreadsheets, notebooks, and other platforms. And over time, that leads to data that is either incorrect, outdated, or completely missing from Salesforce. Many production-breaking errors can be reduced by implementing proper testing and requiring a technical review of both code and configuration. This means that you need to test all possible scenarios, not just the happy path. And you need to make sure that your senior admins and developers review any configuration and code before it goes into production. But let's be real, errors can still occur after following those steps. So how you handle errors is very important. You need to keep the business informed about the status of known errors. This is crucial because users need to know in advance that a process is not going to work as expected. Next, you need to provide user-friendly error messages whenever possible. Users shouldn't see a scary error on the screen without context. Instead, they should get a high-level overview of what went wrong, preferably in an easy-to-understand format. And finally, you need to keep track of historical error data. You need an easy way to look back and see what errors have popped up, how often they happen, and how they were fixed. That way, when a random error happens again in the future, you're not starting from scratch. The next common pain point is the lack of training and documentation. You can have a perfect Salesforce implementation with all the bells and whistles, but if your users don't understand how to use it, none of that matters. Some of the users I talked to mentioned how they weren't properly shown how to use their Salesforce instance, and how the documentation wasn't helpful, if there was any documentation at all. This causes users to miss out on leveraging the key features that were implemented to improve their day-to-day work. Hosting live demos and training sessions is a great start, but the real key is to record the trainings and demos. When you record trainings and demos, users will be able to access an on-demand visual resource that they can rewind and revisit while they're actively using the platform. Next, you need to ensure that you produce helpful documentation for your users. Many Salesforce implementations are not documented properly. There are even projects where functionality and processes aren't documented at all. The documentation doesn't have to be fancy, but it should be easy to understand, should have screenshots of key features, and should provide step-by-step instructions on how to use key functionality. After creating trainings and documentations, ask your users for feedback. Make sure that everything is easy for them to follow and fix anything that may be confusing for them. Also, make sure that all of your documentation and training videos are easy for your users to access. Store these resources in a dedicated location that anyone can access when needed. The next common pain point that I hear is lack of communication and customer service. Poor communication can make the entire Salesforce experience feel frustrating. The good news is that there are a few easy wins that can make your users happier. First, you want to provide timely updates on any bugs or features that you're working on. Some projects may only require a weekly summary, while high-priority issues may call for daily check-ins. Whenever you're giving updates to key stakeholders or end users directly, you want to make sure that they have enough information to understand your progress. Next, you want to make sure that you are responsive to user requests. Your users don't want to feel ignored whenever they submit a ticket or reach out about an issue in Salesforce. You want to make sure that you are at least acknowledging incoming requests, tickets, and messages in a timely manner. And you want to make sure that you let users know what the next steps will be. Finally, avoid using a lot of technical terms in conversations with your users. Using technical language can leave users feeling confused and overwhelmed. If you want to provide good customer service as a Salesforce professional, you need to be able to explain what you're doing using non-technical terms in a way that people can easily understand. For example, instead of telling a user that you're going to add a fault path with a screen element to a flow, you could say that you're going to update the automation so that if something goes wrong, a clear message will display on the screen. The final pain point that we will cover today is a lack of a local resource on the Salesforce team. Many companies have Salesforce teams that are in completely different time zones or they're entirely overseas. This can absolutely work in certain situations, but when there's no local resource, it can create challenges for users. One of the biggest issues is around time zone differences. If a critical error happens in production while your Salesforce team is asleep, your users are going to be stuck. It also complicates daily collaboration. Users may have trouble coordinating meetings and live shares with the Salesforce team, and they may not receive those timely updates because their work hours don't overlap with the Salesforce team's hours. I'm not saying that remote or offshore teams are bad. They can be valuable and cost-effective, but I do believe that you should have some sort of local presence on your Salesforce team. When you have both local and non-local resources on your team, you can ensure that work gets completed on time and that your users always have access to someone on the Salesforce team. Now you see why your users secretly hate Salesforce. But the good news is that we can help users love Salesforce by providing better implementations, fewer errors, real training, clear communication, and the right support. You have the information you need to prevent these pain points. So start improving user experiences and go shock the world.